Well, hello. Several weeks ago, I showed you the top of my boulder hill and promised that I would let you know about the hellebores down at the bottom. So we're going to take a look at that today. Now, this was about, April 6th when I filmed this, and the hellebores are still going strong. They bloom for about 6 weeks here or longer, and this is how they look. I've got a lot of the hellebores right now that are blooming. So many flowers. It's getting better and better each year. This must be a good spot for them because they do real well. I think this is part of the wedding party series, if I remember when I purchased it. It might be I think Maid of Honor, I think was the name of it. I'm not sure. And I don't remember the one that I brought over from my other house and transplanted here. I don't remember the name of it at all. But these are really nice. They do attract the bees. And so in the springtime, when you're worrying about the bees just newly coming out, they'll have hellebores if you plant those. Now there's a cleanup to do. Those dead leaves and everything are something that you'll need to clean up in the spring. And I hesitate, like here in Ohio, we've had snowstorms, we've had hard freezes, and I hate to trim all of that off so that it, would be there to protect the plants. Same with the Heuchera. I've got Palace Purple there, and I just think that the covering needs to be there to protect the new growing shoots. Now my stone in the walls with the sedum stuck in it, doing real well. I've got a lot of sedum in the cracks and a lot of little weeds too, but those are easy to pull out. Now you can see the flowers, how pretty they are still, even though they've been out for weeks. They look good, and the dying leaves don't detract too much from the beauty of the flowers. As you can see, I've got a lot of sedum growing down at the base of my hellebores. The sedum has grown real well on the boulder garden. Now, this next portion is about a month later. I filmed this yesterday. That was the 5th. And you can see how greened up and pretty, even though aged, some of those flowers are. They just look even prettier as they age. But my daughter doesn't want me to climb up the hill, so she goes up the hill to pull the weeds. You can see how that's grown, even from just a month ago. There's big dandelion there in the middle, and I'm sure I'll have lots of dandelion flowers growing from the seeds that the puffballs let loose. But now, after we've got almost all of it cleaned up, I just want to show you how it looks. And yes, we still do need to weed whip there at the bottom of the retaining wall. The dwarf Korean lilac is in full bloom right now. Looks beautiful, and the colors all go well together with that Palace Purple and some of the other Heuchera that I've got over here. Now there's still a few leaves, brown branches to clean up, but basically you just go back to the base of the plant and cut it off. Real easy to clean up that way, because once everything gets growing, you can kind of see what needs to be trimmed off and what doesn't. And this is just my preferred way of doing it. Now you may go in there real early and cut it off, but I just feel like it needs protected. Here in Ohio, those frosts and freezes come later and later. Hopefully we're done with that. Now my emigration right there in the center, that's just about to bloom with its brilliant yellow flowers. I'm going to have to post a picture of that on the Facebook group. But those old flowers look so pretty and delicate. They've aged and the blush of pink has faded, but the colors are still beautiful. They go well with the backs of that Palace Purple, and with the vivid greens of all this sedum. And that sedum is very good at weed suppression. You can see how it just blankets underneath there. And it almost makes like a flood of the sedum spilling over the retaining wall bricks and the boulders. That's the double, which I think is the wedding party, and that single there on the right is the other variety, but that I don't know which it is. I just love those colors. Now that's the same flower, just a little bit aged, one a lot older than the other by weeks. Now I just bring a little carton and box up all these weeds as the finishing touches. I'm sorry, all these dead branches as the finishing touches, and get it all cleaned up and looking very, very pretty. And this retaining wall, the hellebores like to be moist, and the retaining wall, since the drainage comes downhill, it's a pretty steep hill, I think it works out real well for some of these plants that need moisture, but they need to drain real well. Going up the hill, I have another Heuchera, and then this sedum. I don't remember the sedum, but the name of it, but it blooms in a red color. That's my daughter. She's my biggest helper. She does a lot of the stuff that she thinks that I can't do. Look at that hen in there. You wouldn't think the hen would grow in all these layers and layers of mulch, but guess what? Around here they do, as long as it's going to drain well. And I don't know if you've noticed how well mulch drains, but you can pour water down in it and it just sinks away immediately. So think about that when you plant them. They can do really well in mulch. Now that's a big round boxwood there. It's going to need a little bit of trim up. But the boulders, the waves of that sedum are just growing down across the boulders, and they're even coming out into the little rock spillway that we've got here. Now I'm not sure of the name of this Heuchera. I can't remember. Maybe wildberry, but I'm not sure. If you know the true identity of that one, let me know. I love the dwarf lilac. I love lilacs in general, but it smells heavenly over here to work in this garden bed. I think I'm going to add a little more of the river rock because it's getting sparse in some places. We constantly have to pull grass out of this flower bed. But it's turned into a beautiful garden. I'll reference the old video where we planted this, and you can really see the big difference in how it's grown. But it's ended up being a beautiful garden bed, even though it's a little hard to take care of. I love it anyway. Love those lilacs. But thanks for watching today. I really appreciate when you watch the videos and continue and stick around to watch more. I'll reference some of those here at the end of the video if you'd be interested. Try the sedum if you have any hillside incline. I think you'll really love it. I'll see you next video.